Up next, I'm going to invite Bill Vaughan to come and talk about the energy saving ideas and case studies. Bill is the energy efficiency manager responsible for demand side management program and the implementation for energy related projects for commercial and industrial customers of Entergy, Mississippi. He's active with the company ICF, and prior to joining ICF, Bill has 12 years of experience in the technical and consultant sales and marketing for Entergy, Mississippi. He has a broad experience owning real estate and construction service firms, serving as sales and marketing director for a national healthcare construction firm and marketing manager for a regional engineering firm. He's a lifelong Mississippian and graduated from USM with a BS and earned an MBA from MSU. Please welcome Bill.
All right, you remember when you had show and tell when you were a kid, you went to a school and somebody brought like a petrified rock, or maybe they brought a turtle or something like that, or maybe if you were lucky they brought a dead rattlesnake, something like that. What we'd like to do today is focus and show and tell you about Mississippi-based companies that have saved energy and been responsible environmentally as it pertains to energy efficiency. What I'd like to do is spend one slide talking about Entergy Solutions, who we are, what we're about, but the bulk of the presentation today is I'd like to focus on specific Mississippi companies and how they have used current technologies to save energy and money. We'll look in the areas of lighting, heating and air, variable frequency drives, plug loads, refrigeration, and custom. Now, I know this is a big manufacturing group. I just wonder how many of you are Entergy customers? If you'll raise your hand. All right, how many of you are not Entergy customers? But wish you were. No, not too many. Actually, most of the Entergy customers. That's good. How many of you are in the manufacturing section? I know this is an MMA event. How many of you represent a manufacturing customer? Or how many do not, say, a commercial or governmental agency? Okay, so mostly manufacturing. All right, I want to dive right in, talk to you about Entergy Solutions. The Mississippi Public Service Commission in July 2013 issued Rule 29, which encouraged public utilities to implement energy efficiency programs for its customers. Out of that was birthed Entergy Solutions. Entergy Solutions is the brand that Entergy Mississippi uses to promote energy efficiency to its customers. We're broken out into two different sectors. One is residential and one is business. Business in this case means commercial, industrial, governmental. That's what we'll be talking about today. But I do want to briefly mention these residential programs because they are very beneficial. If you are a residential customer or know somebody that is, please call our 800 number about some of these programs. And I'll list the 800 number at the end of the slide, the presentation, but there's also brochures on the registration table, or you can see me at the break and learn more about these programs. The first program is the Residential Energy Audit and Direct Install Program, or READY. In the READY program, you call Entergy and schedule an appointment, and a certified Building Performance Institute building analyst comes out to help you save energy at your home. Some of the measures that you can qualify include LED lights, compact fluorescents, low flow shower head, faucet aerators, power strips and LED night lights, and possibly even cleaning the coils on your refrigerator. How many of us do that? Not many, right? I was talking before we started today. I know Brent Bailey just had one of these READY audits done just a couple of weeks ago. So if you've had one, it's no charge to you. They'll have a printout for you to show you how you can save energy at your home. Very good program. The other one involves heating and air. There's a heating and cooling program where you can get up to $1,000 on energy efficient cooling systems, heat pumps, and split systems. They're kind of in conjunction with that, there's a tune-up program. Right now we're in kind of the shoulder month. This is the time when you think about maybe cleaning things up, maybe servicing your heating and air system. Entergy offers a $100 rebate for a tune-up And we have a diagnostic equipment to look at your system kind of pre-tune-up and after tune-up to show the difference in how much more efficient your system is. It's an I-manifold. It's pretty slick technology, and Entergy pays up to $100 for that. And special income qualified can even be free at no charge. Finally, there's a residential lighting program. If you go to one of the big box retailers, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Sam's Club, Dollar Tree, if you look for the Entergy Solutions logo up here in the top corner on the shelf with the light bulbs, there are already discounted bulbs in place, CFLs and LEDs, up to $1.50 for CFL and $4 LED. So you just go look on the shelf. It's already discounted. There's no paperwork. You just go up there and just buy it. So if you're interested in getting LEDs for your home or CFLs for your home, I encourage you to take advantage of this program. Now, I'm with the business program. That's what we'll be talking about mostly today. If you have a project and some of this kind of inspires you to go back to your place, you want to talk about your specific situation, I encourage you to talk to me at the break or afterwards about ways that we can come alongside you and help and assist you. We can come out and do walkthroughs with you and kind of suggest some things for you. So I want to make that service available to you as well. So that's our one slide advertisement, if you will. So we'll get on to the show and tell. All right, we're going to start with lighting. Lighting's the low-hanging fruit. We're going to talk about interior lights. We're going to talk about exterior lights, and we're going to talk about some controls. On this slide, you'll see just the significant savings from conventional technology to an LED equivalent. Lumen output is 85 to 90% savings. And these LEDs last 4 and 5 times longer. They don't put off heat, so you can actually grab them, although I don't encourage you to do that. We want to be safe here, right? But they're cool, so they require less heating and air. So this is exciting technology. Uh-oh, I think I missed one. LEDs are truly taking over the marketplace. Now, what we see as the most common things, and I'm going to be talking about more common things today because I want to keep the main things the main thing. But you'll see the typical things that we see are these 2x4 troffers. That's the very first picture in the left corner. Those things are everywhere. Here's an example of a 2x2 overhead here. And you'll see these in schools, offices, just everywhere. Track lighting, you'll see this in a retail environment typically. The high bays, you'll see these in manufacturing plants and warehouses. You also see them in gyms in the schools. Exit signs, which are everywhere. The old parabolic, which is what is overhead actually. These were good in the 80s and 90s. They created a cave-like effect, but instead, and they generally require 3 or 4 lamps. Now these overhead are 2 lamp, but the LED technology now, they'll have these little LED strips or even just LED tubes, and usually you only need like 2 instead of 4. So in addition to the longer life, the lower energy, you can use fewer pieces of equipment. Here's an example from MRA. MRA is a private school in Madison, Mississippi, up on Old Canton Road, I think. They replaced 1,625 of these troffer fixtures. You can look down the hallway and around the office area and see examples of some of the new troffers. They actually used a kit where they took the existing fixture, left it in place, but took out the guts, swung in the kit, and boom, there they go. So they save 490,000 kilowatt hours annually. Now that isn't the only thing they did. They did some other things, parking lot lighting, gym lighting, things, put in some controls. But by and large, this was the main part of that particular job. So they used strip kits there. This is another part of the job. I'll just go ahead and mention it because I had some nice pictures and I wanted to show them off. This is some recessed lighting in their conference room, kind of overlooking the football field, and then you'll see the gym lights and how crisp and clear it looks in the gym there. In addition to the kits in the troffers, you can also use these LED tubes, okay? And so an example of that, Tyler Homes up in Winona, Mississippi, instead of putting the kits or new fixtures, they put these tubes, which you'll see the picture right in the middle of what one of those tubes looks like. It looks like the traditional fluorescent tube, but this is LED. They took out 1,900 of these tubes across their campus. And you can see the energy savings, 218,000 kilowatt hours that was used. And I'll also mention, I know Rusty Ponder is here in the audience. He'll be on the podium later. I could just as easily featured you in this, but I knew you were coming up, so didn't want to steal your thunder. But Rusty was a good friend of the program, and he actually had the most applications that we've had this past year, 14 applications, 14 different projects at Rankin County Schools, so I want to mention him. Rex Drinkard is in the audience. He's with, wave your hand up there where we can see you. He's with Northwest Community College. They changed out some 4,000 or 5,000 A19 bulbs there to LED, so they got rid of the old A19 incandescent across the entire campus. So we didn't get your pictures in time, but I did want to recognize Rex as being in the audience. Salamukis, who's eating pizza at Salamukis? I mean, just about everybody if you live in Jackson, right? It's really good pizza. Jeff Good there's the owner, and he changed out all the screw-in lights. This is an example of screw-in lights at Salamukis, as well as his other restaurant, his sister operations at Bravo, Broad Street, and Mangia Bean, which is their catering company. So you can see how crisp and clean it looks. So next time you go get some ice cream and pizza at Salamukis, you can see some LED lights. Here's one of your manufacturers here. This is Axial, which is at the Gallman exit. Technically Hazelhurst, I think, is the post office calls it, but this is Larry Foster, and you can see him in the inset here, and you wonder why he's smiling so much, because he saves so much energy changing out the lights. And what he has done is this is a high bay type fixture that they replaced 135 lamps. They burn 24/7, so you can see the savings can be significant when you're saving 2 to 1 on the energy savings. Another example of a high bay lighting application. This is LKQ. This is the old Tyson plant just north of the Byram exit on I-55 South. You can see on the left, look at the contrast between the two pictures of the before and after. I mean, it just looks dim and dark in the picture on the left, and yet they're using roughly a third of the energy that they used before. So that's an example of a high bay type system. Now, I've talked about interior LED lights. I want to talk a little bit about controls. Controls, as you walk, when I think about them, I think about when I walk in a room, the light comes on or it goes off automatically. There's so much more to controls than just that, but that is typically what we see in many places. And if you've changed out your lights, you say, okay, what's next? Well, look at occupancy controls in your facility. We typically see these in conference rooms and stairwells, bathrooms, offices, classrooms, and warehouses. And these will save you significantly, and they're fairly low-cost measure to install. An example of that, this is a Versant, which is almost to the state line up Airways, probably 3-wood into Memphis from here. But they have they changed out 380 fixtures with on-board controls, where if there's no activity for 10 or 15 minutes, those lights in the plant goes off. So there's not any kind of activity in an area, the lights go off. But when they see that forklift go in that area, boom, the lights come on. So I don't know if you can appreciate the perspective of this picture, but it is a huge, huge facility. And so this is an example of an on-board control, lighting control in South Haven. So I've talked a little bit about controls and interior LED lights. I want to switch to LED exterior applications, and typically you'll see this in parking garages, wall packs, floodlights, things like that. In the picture, you'll see a picture of a shoebox fixture, which you see in just about every parking lot you go in. And you'll see the equivalent of the lamp difference between the conventional versus the LED is roughly, somewhere around 3 to 1 energy savings. This is an example of a big box retailer. I won't tell you who they are, because I don't know, But anyway, you can probably guess. But you'll see on the left, it's a 1,080 watt usage on that parking lot fixture. And then after, it's 254 watts, so roughly almost a 4 to 1 saving. But look at how even the lighting looks now after installing the new lighting. This is Barksdale Cadillac. This is around County Line, just north of County Line Road in Jackson, headed to Highway 51. You see how bright that looks. I mean, that almost looks like daylight. Of course, in this kind of setting, you want to really distinguish. There's different ways to rate lighting. One of them CRI, and the higher the CRI, the better you can see clearly the colors, and you can see how bright white those are. This is one of the EnHance partners. Is Missy here? Missy Foreman? You know, we've been working with Charles Gorman there at the plant. They did some wall packs around the facility there at Baxter up in Cleveland. They did this and some other things, and Charles got plans to do more, but this just happens to be an example of a wall pack project. So that's lighting, interior, exterior, and the controls. I want to talk a little bit about HVAC solutions. And your HVAC, you know, here in the South, I mean, good gracious, where would we be without that? But it, you know, it runs all the time, and it takes up a bigger percentage of our electric bill probably than other areas. So this is an area we do want to focus on. And there's, you know, all different types of heating and air system, packaged, match splits, heat pumps, P-tacs, which you'll see in hotels and motels. And they're based on the efficiency of them, and there are different ratings, the EER, the SEER, and generally the higher the number, the better. But the chiller is kind of the big one. This is one of the largest users of electricity in most commercial facilities. There's different ratings now. They've gotten better. They look at them part load and not just all on or all off. An example of a chiller project would be Regions Plaza, which is just around the corner from here, probably a block or two. They put in a 600-ton chiller at 0.566 EER, annual energy savings of 225,000 kilowatt hours per year. Variable frequency drive. Well, if you got a pretty good heating and air system, you're probably not going to change it out for the energy savings alone. But with a variable frequency drive where the motor is on kind of as needed and not all on or all off, the savings are very significant. It's a relatively low cost thing to put into place. And by one estimate, running the motor at 40% speed will save you as much as 90% of the associated energy costs. So variable frequency drive is something that you need to put on your list. Plug loads. Plug loads in this setting is typically something you plug in a wall, or maybe it's a lower voltage application, 120 or 240. And some examples of this are going to be vending machine controls, where they'll actually turn off or set back the unit. There's some types of vending machines, some coolers in the back here. Office power strips with occupancy sensors, pretty interesting. Hotel rooms, they can control the heating air. You know, the user can do it, or it's at the front desk, or some of these new programs like Nest. Are y'all familiar with Nest, the residential smart thermostat? Who's got one? Anybody? Got one. Okay. Well, those are the kind of the new thing. You can change your heating and air from an app. You know, kind of interesting. An example of that would be up in South Haven, North Point Christian. This picture on the right is actually a Coke machine. I don't know if you can really distinguish what that is, but that's a control on there where at night or when it's not being used, the conditioned cooler will set back or shut off as you have it programmed. Another one is Chola Management in the Delta region. They have several hotels up in the Delta with brands like Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn Express, Comfort Inn, and many others. They put over 800 smart thermostats where, you know, when you go in, the user can use it, but it's heat censored and motion controlled. There's some overrides for at nighttime just in case, you know, you don't move or you don't put off any heat for some reason, where it will stay operational. But the savings can be quite significant. Switching to refrigeration solutions. I won't talk much about this. There are some exciting technologies if you're in that sector. When I think about these, I think about going to my local grocery store, perhaps maybe like a Kroger. And when you're in the refrigerator's aisle, the little lights will come on. Or maybe they'll be dim, but they'll kind of follow you around. It's kind of creepy a little bit the first time you see it. But those are actually huge energy savers. And a lot of the retailers have gotten on board with this type of technology, and you're seeing it more and more in gas stations or grocery stores. The final one, it applies more to the manufacturing sector of any. We've got the typical lighting, heating and air, variable frequency drives. Those are all the typical type things that you would normally think of. But in manufacturing, you know, the process and some of the other things, site-specific areas of improvement, you know, it's really when you got to get your calculator out and look at each individual situation, your individual situation, to see what the savings are, what the benefits are. And some of those can include, you know, custom chillers, energy management systems, non-HVAC VFDs, some compressed air projects. I mean, the list can go on and on. It's anything that's just kind of not lighting and heating air, pretty much. Just one example is Falco lime. It's really that should be Mississippi lime. I've always known it as Falco lime, but it's Mississippi lime. Over in Vicksburg, they had a 150 horsepower variable compressor project that they put in just recently. And so you can see the annual savings associated with that, the kind of the before and after. So I've zipped through several things, talked to you a little bit about energy solutions and the energy efficiency that you can capture as a homeowner or in your business setting. We've also focused on kind of a show and tell presentation of what other Mississippians are doing. What I want to do is kind of inspire you to go and look at your particular situation, maybe call us up, maybe get some ideas on what you can do and develop a plan. I understand one of the speakers is going to tell how they developed a plan, so that'll kind of dovetail into that presentation. But I just wanted to show, you know, what other Mississippi companies are doing to save energy. So if you want to contact us, this is our website, energysolutionsms.com. If you're interested in the READY audit or the tune-up program or the heating and air program, please call the residential number. If you want to reach me, call the business number. This is our official email address, and that's my personal email address. So if I can answer any questions, I would appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Is Entergy still putting out funds to help businesses do these? Or is that ended?
Well, we currently, as of March 28th, we're fully committed. We do have a process that we can explain kind of offline of what we do have. We offer a kind of a wait list process where if something rolls off, we can fund some things, but we can talk about your specific situation at the break. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.